Let's hope to get these wins, boys. Get that money. Get that feast in. Double feast on Thanksgiving. That's what I'm going to call this episode. Double feast time.
Love it.
Welcome back, everyone. This is episode 2. Let's get your money in before you have that feast at Thanksgiving. I'm Harry. Dero is the one with that ugly background. I mean, the Dolphins are bad this year, but what's going on, Dero?
What's going on? Harry's been shitting on me for my teams for a long time. The Braves did just won the World Series, so I will stick with the Dolphins forever.
I respect it. But, before we get into our picks, we all know we're going to have a big feast on Thursday, and we want you to get that money to pay for that feast. So we're going to help you out with those picks. This week's an interesting episode. All 50 states are welcome to join here, and it's a free to play NFL Thanksgiving slate. They have a nice payout. We'll get into it a little bit more. And, Dero, this is going to be fun, man. This is going to be a fun time.
Yeah, there's nothing better than Thanksgiving football. And I will say two things. One, we know that half of everybody's fantasy teams suck, so it's time to pick it up and ParlayPlay is where it's at. Number two, for the full ParlayPlay tutorial, check out video number 1. It has everything from how to sign up for the website, going through how to make your pick. So check that out.
And that's why we love ParlayPlay. Me and Kush always said the insurance money, but they even have free to plays, and we're going to show you that this week. It's a lot of fun. I'll get this started. Get this payout free, all states, all 50 states. Let's get that participate past 500. Let's make them expand that. But let's get this. Let me take this away. So DeAndre Swift, I'm going under on this game. Jared Goff should be back. I mean, Bears D is kind of good also, but besides that, DeAndre Swift, besides the past 2 games, has been consistently under 85.5 yards. He's gonna have a good fantasy week. He'll get involved in the pass game, but this is an easy under for me. I mean, if you want to look at this little graph here, he went up the past 2 games. I mean, last game they had no quarterback. The one before was an overtime game. This is an easy under. I mean, Dero, I think you're gonna agree with me, but
Yeah, I agree with you. Under for the rushing, I think he will be very involved in the passing game.
pretty simple stuff. I respect that. Clear and concise. So, let's move it to David Montgomery. Again, Lions, Bears. This is going to be a good matchup. What do you think here?
So David Montgomery, we are going with the over. He's back and healthy. He was out for a while. They just went through the bye. He will get more than 15 touches. He has to for them to, just improve. Detroit D is not that great also. So we're going the over for David Montgomery.
Yeah, I think they're going to pull away a little bit. Andy Dalton actually just got announced as a starter. So, I don't know how much they trust the vet. And I think they're going to run the ball a lot to Montgomery. And he's going to finally have a big game after coming back from that injury. So, I'm going over as well. I think so.
Andy Dalton's not winning any Super Bowls these days. They have to run if they want to contend. So over.
He's also not winning any playoff games.
Fair.
All right. So, next, we got Dak Prescott. I mean, very bad performance last game. And yes, his wide receivers are banged up. But he's only had 1 game under 200. So this category, no. I don't think he has 300 plus because he's missing too many weapons. Amari Cooper, I don't think he's going to be back from COVID protocols. CeeDee Lamb just got injured. So they're back to Michael Gallup. I do think he has a decent game. Raiders are going to force him to throw. So I'm definitely in this range in the middle, 244 to 301. I mean, I think he's going to have a nice showing. I'm going to play it safe. I'm doing 244, 272. And don't forget, this is 250 points. This is a whole contest that you're entering in. If it's in the 273 to 301, that's 50 points. If it's in 201 to 243, it's 50. So I think I definitely locked in the 50 points. And I think this is the most likely occurrence. I could see it maybe in the 273 to 301, but I do think this is a safer pick. I mean, Rosen, what do you think?
A part of me wants to say that he's going 273 to 301.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, it's a big day. He's trying to get back on track and just crush it. But I mean, you're getting 50 points if you go to the left or the right. So either way, you're all right.
If CeeDee Lamb didn't get injured, or if Cooper was back, I'd say, I mean, we'll get the report then, but then I'd say move to 273, 301. But now with the banged up roster, I don't think so. I don't think so. We got a Derek Carr here. This one's also, I like it. This is be a good matchup. But what do you think, Dero?
So he's averaging about 304 yards on the season, but I think he's going to be throwing about 250 yards this game. So we'll go to the 244 to 272. He was crushing it at the beginning of the season. He's tailored off and he's steadied out. The he's throwing touchdowns and he's doing well in that regard. But passing, I think that's fair. Dallas D is solid, but he's going to go around 250.
That's fair. I think this one to me it's 273 to 301. I think it is a big game for both teams, but I think Raiders kind of need it more. So I think he's gonna have a big showing on Thanksgiving. And Derek Carr's showtime, man. He shows up. He shows up. So I'm going slightly over, but again, you get 50 points for either way. But I think it's close. It's definitely between those two also. So I'll agree with that for sure.
Yeah,
So
Raider Nation showing up on Thanksgiving.
absolutely. Another Cowboys Raiders game pick. Zeke Elliott. I mean, he's been consistently under 72 and a half. But some part of me says he's showing up, but he's injured. I'm going under because he's injured. And I think, again, that's why I think Dak's going to throw a lot. I don't know how many yards he's going to get. This has a potential to be a shootout, but not with all the weapons missing. Raiders don't have great wide receivers. Cowboys are all injured. I'm going to go under. I do think he gets a lot of rushes, but I don't think he does a lot with it. I'm going to go 18 rushes, really close, 66 yards, right under that. What do you think, Rosen?
Yeah, I mean, he's been averaging 67 and a half. I think he'll be involved in the pass game considerably. It's going to be close. It's going to be very close. I'll take the under also. I think the Cowboys need to step it up, need to get him involved, and I think it might come from the passing game.
It's steady down. It's steady down. So
yeah.
I'm gonna stick with that. I'm gonna stick with under also. I think that's definitely the safer route also. What do you think with Darren Waller?
So I'm taking the under. Only 3 times this year has he been over 73 and a half. Dallas D has been giving up touchdowns, but not necessarily yardage against the tight end. So I'm taking the under for Waller this week.
For me, this is the one I disagree with Rosen. I'm going over just because the two guys that did, everything he just said was right, but the two guys that did, Gronk and Kelsey, I think Waller's right in that caliber, right in that range. And obviously, we all know what happened, unfortunately, with Henry Ruggs. Terrible situation, but they got weaker as the season went on, and I think Waller's going to be more involved. Again, Thanksgiving's always spicy. I'm going to go over. I'm going to go. He's somewhere in the 80s, but
okay. The two tight ends that were over were who?
Over 73 and a half is Gronk.
Yeah.
And Kelsey. And Waller's right behind them, and they lit them up. So
Gronk is one of the best tight ends of all time. Kelsey is definitely one of the best tight ends now. Waller is a very, very good tight end, but I don't put him in the same category as those guys just yet.
He's close, but yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, so now we got an interesting one. Josh Allen, who came very disappointing performance to say the least. But the Saints again. Everyone's been saying Bills cannot beat the good teams. Saints are not a good team. Saints are not a good team. He is pissed, and he's going to show that he's pissed. This is a 290 to 331. I'm even tempted to do 332, but this is a 290 to 331. He is angry, and he's going to be relentless against this team. And I was going to say this game is going to be a blowout, and I still think that, but he's not going to stop throwing. And they don't have a great running back any. Zach Moss, Singletary. He's just going to keep throwing on this team. He's going to put up yardage.
I agree with the Moss. Singletary sucks. Moss is pretty average. But click on that chart for a second, Harry.
Yeah, I got you. But again, Jacksonville, that was a fluke. Tennessee put up a lot. Jets, he put up a lot. I don't think Saints are good. And I don't know what happened with Jaguars. And he's coming off a loss. He usually doesn't have 2 bad games in a row.
Okay.
Yeah, but what do you think? I'm here. I'm all here.
I'm going 263 to 289. The chart speaks for itself. He's on a decline. Listen, if there's a week for him to pick it up, it is Thanksgiving weekend. But I'm not convinced. So I'm going to go one less than you.
It's fair, respect it. And then we got our last pick before we enter the free to play. What do you think with Trevor Siemian?
Siemian has been balling. Every week he's been getting better and better and better. And we don't know, we can't confirm, but I don't think Alvin Kamara is. Listen, I don't know. I have Kamara on my fantasy team. I really hope he plays. Harry, you have any insight on that? Because
it's because you were supposed to play last week. I don't know. I don't know.
So he's been improving tremendously in touchdowns, Siemian. He's also just been improving overall. I'm gonna say 223 to 256. I wouldn't be shocked if it was 257 to 289. Um, but I think he's gonna stay steady with the yardage in that bucket. Listen, if he had Michael Thomas on the team, it would be a different story. The Saints are just so banged up. The receiving core is not great. The run is not great without Kamara. So he'll be able to throw it. I don't know who's going to be catching it necessarily, but if you threw in like a Michael Thomas, I'd put him one up. But I'm going 223 to 256.
Very tough. This one's very tough. I do think because it's gonna be a blowout. Again, if I would actually make sure Taysom Hill is injured so that they have no choice but to play this guy. But
Yeah,
they have no choice but to play this guy. I agree with him. 223, 256. If Taysom Hill is at least limited and able to play, I'm going 190 to 222 because he's not very good. They're forcing this guy out. I think he was on the Broncos a couple of years ago. Not very good quarterback. Weak.
right.
Bills are going to blow them out, and he's going to just put up garbage time. He's going to catch up in garbage time. I think he's going to be 157, 189 with like 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Get some
There's
garbage time touchdown.
there's so many questions with the Saints, like who's injured, who's not, who's playing, and that will, like, he could dump the ball off to Kamara. Kamara could go for 60 on 60 passing yards, so 60 receiving yards. So I think 223 to 256 is safe for now.
That's fair. And before we enter, don't forget this payout is free. They have this twice a week for football. They got this 3 times a week for NBA. Just get this money in. And this is all everyone can play, all 50 states can play, free to join. And you by the way, you get $10 to enter if you're in other states. In New York, you start with $10. So like good, you get a little boost. It's great, man, and definitely recommend this site. It's fun. I mean, nothing's like it. And they give you a little insurance. You get it wrong, you get 50 points. Can't
Yeah,
find anything else like it.
ParlayPlay is a great site, and there are not many better sports days than Thanksgiving football. So if you're gonna be playing daily fantasy, Thanksgiving football it is. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next week's picks.
Let's hope to get these wins, boys. Get that money. Get that feast in. Double feast on Thanksgiving. That's what I'm going to call this episode. Double feast time.
Love it.